I'm Jordan Whaley. I'm 24 years old. I am from Hogansville, Georgia. I grew up in church. My mom, my dad, my grandparents raised me in church as an early kid. Knew all about God and His love and the cross. As time got on and I grew older, I fell away from the knowledge of God because certain stuff in life happened as a kid that put lies inside my head that this is who I was. About 12, 13 years old, my mom was a opiate user, so I've seen the first hands of how addiction hurts somebody. She lost her family, she lost kids, husband, house, everything. So I've seen the negative side of addiction. It affected me tremendously because growing up, I became bitter of my mom because of the addiction that she had. Because I was the baby, so she always protected me, and I hated her at one point in my life. I really didn't. This is not my mom because the addiction has taken over her, and consider her a mom. I consider her a friend. It did affect me negative in a lot of ways growing up. It did shape my perception of my parents through that addiction. So I've seen it firsthand, and it hindered me a lot, I think, because she was always protective of me, controlling and doing what she wanted me to do. So I think it hurt me a lot. That's why I turned to alcohol, and I would steal drugs from my mom, pills, and because I had to relieve the bitterness and the pain that I had inside, because at first it wasn't a broken home, but then after my mom and dad divorced, it was just like chaos. It was always chaos, yelling, screaming. It was like painful, even as a teenager. And and being in high school, I was confused about who I was. So I turned to the thing that I could turn to was drugs or alcohol. And also, I went to bad relationships. Lived a lifestyle that shouldn't have been lived because of my background in church. I knew the truth about the Lord, but still wanted to do what I wanted to do. I lived a lifestyle that was unpleasing to God, but to me it was who I was because the enemy told me. Because I believed a lie the enemy told me when I was 11, 12 years old. So from 12 to 22, I lived a lifestyle of a gay man. My family, I hid it very well from them, but eventually they found out because I told them, and they just really didn't like it because my family is very Christian oriented, very godly people. I wanted to escape it through alcohol, drugs, or relationships with people. So that's how I filled up my pain that I had. Yeah, my coping mechanism that I had. Teen Challenge is my third facility going into, but since being here, the aha moment that I had was, you remember it, we were in the prayer room, and I thought I was saved, quote unquote saved. I lived a good life and went to church and wasn't a bad person, but on the inside, that brokenness that I had and bitterness and bad past with family and people, it came back. It was just like God was just telling me, you need to come find me. And I remember just laying there on the floor for 3 hours crying. Really gave my life to God because I realized that I was nothing without Him, and that He's the only one that can fill my void and my hurts and my heart and fill the pain that I had. And He was the ultimate healer that I was longing for. But it took 15 years of hell on earth to come to this point, to realize that all I need is God. I don't need drugs, alcohol, men. I don't need none of that stuff to please me. All I need is God. And so I'm glad that I came here, And another aha moment was this year in Spiritual Emphasis Week, the last night, the pastor was calling out the Spirit, and then I remember I was basically slain in the Spirit, people call it, but I remember falling out in the spirit, and God really radically delivered me from homosexuality. I still have the thoughts, but I'm not perfect. But I know that confess my sins, God is faithful and just to forgive them, and from all my unrighteousness. So if I just cling to God and confess my sins and keep walking in victory, that's all I need to do. And renew my mind daily in the Word of God. What I learned here at Teen Challenge. So it's been a lot of aha moments here, and it's been a long road at Teen Challenge. 13 months. But it's worth it.